Hi boys and girls, today you're going to be taking your bi-weekly assessment number 8. Let's get started. Directions. Read the passage and answer the items. From Blood on the River by Elisa Carbone. January stretches into February, and it turns even colder. The night air sucks the warmth from our bones as we try to sleep in tents made from the ship's sails. Without the skins and furs from the Powhatans, we would all freeze. As it is, we sometimes awake in the morning to find one of our men, the oldest, weakest, and sickest among us, frozen in his bed. And once again, digging graves is part of my regular chores. We make a very interesting trade. We send Thomas Savage to Werowocomo to live, and Chief Powhatan sends us his servant boy, Nomintak, to live with us. Our circles widen even more, and I think it is a good way to live. We are standing on many legs now, together with the Powhatans. I think of the centipedes that used to crawl over my bed last summer, and I think we are like them, with so many legs. A centipede does not topple in a storm. Question number 1. Read this sentence from the passage. I think of the centipedes that used to crawl over my bed last summer, and I think we are like them, with so many legs. A centipede does not topple in a storm. What does the phrase, we are like them with so many legs, suggest? A. The colonists are struggling to feed everyone in the colony. B. The colonists are stronger because of working with the Powhatans. C. The colonists have been weakened by the change of the seasons. D. The colonists have new ideas about how to lead the Powhatans. Be sure to answer number 1 with number 1. Next question, number 2. What is Samuel's perspective on the Powhatans in this passage? F. He is suspicious about their motives for trading. G. He feels guilty about taking advantage of them. H. He feels grateful for their help and generosity. J. He is resentful of their health and strength. Be sure to pause the video, boys and girls, if you need time to go back into the story to find your answer. Number 3. What detail from the passage best shows Samuel's perspective on the Powhatans? Letter A. Without the skins and furs from the Powhatans, we would all freeze. B. And once again, digging graves is part of my regular chores. C. We make a very interesting trade. D. I think of the centipedes that used to crawl over my bed last summer. Be sure to pause the video if you need to go back into the passage to find your answer. And don't forget, make sure when you answer number 3, you are on the correct question on the right side. Number 4. Which theme is conveyed in this passage? F. Decisions should be made out of love, not anger. G. Hard work matters more than class of wealth. H. Sometimes what saves us is the help of others. J. Throughout history, humans have faced unknowns. Next passage. Directions. Read the passage and answer the items. From Blood on the River by Elisa Carbone. Our chief Powhatan is much better than your king, Nomontax says, speaking in Algonquin, so that the gentleman will not hear his assessment of their exalted king. Your king is a short, weak man. Our chief is tall and very strong. Your king has no hair and no teeth, just a round belly for eating too much. How can such a man be a king? A look of disgust crosses Nomontax's face, as if he is not quite sure how to tell me his next point. And he stinks! Does he not bathe? And he drinks wine until he can no longer stand or speak. I have heard this about our King James. It is well known that the king's doctors have warned him that bathing causes the plague, and he has taken this advice to heart. He almost never bathes, yet Englishmen still honor him. He is, after all, our king. Nomontax feels no such obligation. The natives bathe quite often, even in cold weather. They have no fear of the English plague, only disdain for English stink. Number 1, exalted, which means celebrated. Number 2, plague, which means an infectious disease that killed many people. Number 3, obligation, which means duty. Question number 5. Read this sentence from the passage. They have no fear of the English plague, only disdain for English stink. In the sentence above, the word disdain means A. Sympathy, B. A strong negative feeling, C. Confusion, D. A belief in an idea. Number 6. Which detail from the passage helps the reader understand the meaning of disdain? F. The gentleman will not hear his assessment of our exalted king. G. A look of disgust crosses Nomontax's face. H. I have heard these stories about our King James. Letter J. Yet Englishmen still honor him. Make sure to pause the video if you need to go back into the story to find your answer. Number 7. What is Nomontax's perspective on what makes a good leader? A. A leader should be physically tall and strong. B. A leader should live as he or she wants. C. A leader should be chosen by the people. D. A leader should have experience. Number 8. The author develops Nomentak's perspective by F. Comparing Nomentak's and Samuel's different perspectives. G. Detailing the process by which the Powhatans choose their leader. H. Describing an interaction between Nomentak and the English king. J. Showing how Nomentak compares Chief Powhatan and the English king. Be sure to answer in number 8. Last question. Read this sentence from the passage. Yet Englishmen still honor him. He is, after all, our king. What do these sentences suggest about Samuel's perspective? A. Samuel is confident that the English way of government with a king is better than the Algonquin way with their leader. B. Samuel wishes that the English colonists would seek independence from the king and form their own government. C. Samuel recognizes that his court men honor the king because of his position, not because he has the qualities of a good leader. D. Samuel thinks Nomentak should have more respect for King James and that the Powhatans should accept him as their leader. Be sure to mark your answer in question 9 on the right side. Alrighty, boys and girls, make sure that once you finish answering all the questions, you go back and you make sure you double check your work. Please be sure all of your responses on the right-hand side of your test are filled out completely. Be sure to review and finish your tests, and once you have all of the questions that say answered, you will go ahead and click the green button.